Okay, before you begin the video, please make sure that you've read the section on features of a histogram here, and also features of a polygon. Alright, example 1. 45 students were asked the question, how many hours of homework did you do last week? The results were as follows. Arrange the information in a frequency table. Okay, so a frequency table has two columns to it. So the first column is the score, the second column is the frequency. Okay, having a look at those scores up there, find your lowest score and your highest score. So I think, having a quick look, the lowest score is 2, and it looks like the highest score is 9. So I'm going to write down every score from 2 to 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then what I've got to do is go through all that data and count how many of each score there is. Alright, it helps to cross it off as you go, just so that you don't make any mistakes. Alright, so having a quick look through, we've got 2, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I think there's only 4 2s, so we put down a frequency of 4. Then do the same with 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 3s. Alright, and continue doing that until you've filled in the whole table. So I'm just going to pause the recording while I quickly do that. Okay, so I've completed the frequency for each score. Just to double check that you haven't missed anything out, at the bottom you can do a total and you add up this column here. The question says that there's 45, so it should add to 45. So let's just do a quick check. So 4, 3, 7, plus 5 is 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 5 is 23, plus 8, 31, plus 11, 42, plus 3 is 45. Alright, so I know I haven't missed any. Part B. Draw a frequency histogram and frequency polygon. Alright, so if you're going to use OneNote to do this, the first thing you want to draw up is your axes. So it helps to use this button here. Alright, and then we're just going to draw an axis going down and across. So remembering that we've got 9 scores and our highest frequency is 11, so we have to go up to at least 11. Alright, so starting, also make sure that that is sitting nicely on the grid. Okay, it helps a bit later on. Alright, so I'm going to go up by 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, it's not quite big enough, so I'm just going to make those 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Alright, so we don't really need this top section up here. But that's okay, we'll leave it as it is. Across the bottom, our first score was 2. So the first one I'm going to have is 2. Our next score was 3. And so on across the bottom. Up to 9, our highest score was 9. Alright, then what we've got to do is draw a column around each of those scores. So we had a score of 2 had a frequency of 4. So you can use this little rectangle tool here, and remember that your rectangle or your column must sit around the 2 on the bottom there. It's got to go up to 4 because that was what my frequency was. Alright, now if it does jump around a little bit in OneNote, but just make sure your column sits nicely across the grid there. Alright, then do the same for the next one. So another column, frequency of 3 this time. So just to there. Next one, helps to leave that toolbar sitting there. Just scroll up a bit. Alright, next one, score of 4 has a frequency of 5. Okay, Score of 5 has a frequency of 6. Alright, so you get the idea. Keep doing that until you've completed your frequency histogram. So remember, the ones with the columns is a histogram. One other thing, actually, before I pause it and do the rest, is that you must label these axes. So frequency is always, frequency is always the vertical column, and score is what you have across the bottom. Right, so I'm just going to pause the video and finish off that table, histogram. Okay, so there's our histogram completed. So a couple of important features that you have to remember. Firstly, you must leave half a column width at the beginning. Okay, all the columns must be the same width, so see how all of mine are going across 2 columns. Alright. Also, you must label your axes. Alright, so remember to do all of those things. Okay, so the second part was to draw, so that's the histogram. The polygon is the line that you draw over the top of this. So let's just get rid of those markings. Alright. So use your line tool here. And what we're going to do is, the line that you draw for a polygon always starts from the origin here at 0. And we're going to draw it going from there to the middle of each column. Alright, if you want to change that colour just so you can see it a bit more clearly, let's change it to blue. And then each line goes from where the previous one ended to the middle of the next column. So the middle of one column to the middle of the next column. Alright, until you get to the very end. And at the end it off by joining it to where you imagine that the next column would be on the base there. Alright, and that's our polygon. So the line graph is the polygon, and the column part of it is the histogram. Okay, that's our frequency, histogram, and polygon done.